Hello and welcome to Wednesday devotions during this Trinity Tide. We continue our reading from the Gospel of St. Matthew in chapter 5, from verse 17. Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not imagine that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to complete them. I tell you solemnly, till heaven and earth disappear, not one dot, not one little stroke shall disappear from the law until its purpose is achieved. Therefore, the person who infringes even one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be considered the least in the kingdom of heaven. But the person who keeps them and teaches them will be considered great in the kingdom of heaven." Dear friends, some biblical scholars have difficulty in reconciling Jesus' words here in this passage with his freedom of spirit in many matters concerning the Sabbath. Jesus seems to disregard some of the rules of the Jewish faith as it was practiced in his time, i.e. his disciples gathered food from the fields on the Sabbath. And then, of course, he was rendered unclean because he associated with bad people, sinners. When you read the Old Testament book of Kings, chapter 18, it tells a story of how Elijah defeats the prophets of Baal with the help of God in sacrifice. The prophets of Baal call upon the name of their God to light the fire on which the Holocaust is laid, but to no avail. And when Elijah calls on the name of the one true God, the fire is lit, the sacrifice is burnt and acceptable to God, as declared in the law of Moses. Now, it is against this backdrop that Matthew's Gospel is written. However, Jesus does not reject the Old Testament of the Jews, but brought it back to its basics. Love God, love your neighbor. And he stresses here and elsewhere that our life should be of one piece, so that people should be able to read our principles from our behavior. That is more important than being able to instruct people in the law of God. You know what? It's harder to live one sermon than to preach a dozen. The fulfillment of the old religion would be the person of Jesus himself. The law is good only because it leads to Christ. Now here's the thing. Those in sync with these latest mobile acronyms, LOL. Jesus has something for you here today. How are you with the commandments? LOL number 1, left out last. Or are you LOL number 2, left in love? There you go, my friends. Become that person that's left in love, not left out last during this time. Let us pray. God, heal the world. Fill empty hearts, feed the hungry, free lost souls, fight coronavirus, forge us towards peace. For Jesus Christ's sake. Amen. And so once more, dear friends, from a chilly Po, God bless. Keep well and stay safe from the balcony.